This video will have 3 parts. Includes details of the Burning Sun case, the Molka chat case, and the Seungri case. These 3 cases are completely different, but the media published it under a big scandal called Burning Sun. We hope you watch all 3 parts of this video. The story of the so-called Burning Sun scandal started when a person claimed through a post that he noticed girls are given drugs and raped in a famous club in Gangnam, owned by a famous celebrity. This man said that when he wanted to save the girls, the security and one of the officials of the club named Jang violently took him out, called the police, and the police beat him up. So he claimed that the police were cooperating with the club, which deals in rape, sexual assault, and drugs. During this post, he also published photos of himself as proof that he was beaten. This man's name was Kim Sang-kyo. After exposing this so-called scandal, this man literally became a national hero. He appeared in various shows and many YouTubers interviewed him. And little by little during this man's words and various articles that were published, the club was introduced with this title, Bang's Seungri's Club. At the same time, Kim Sang-kyo also shared a video from the Burning Sun Club's CCTV camera, in which the club's security drag a girl and take her away. The situation became even more strange when some videos of people having sex and also a video of a woman being sexually assaulted in the Burning Sun's restroom were found on foreign porn sites. The news literally exploded in Korea. The claims of Kim Sang-kyo, who now has many people trusting him and watching his mouth to see what he has to say, even became a problem for girls' generation's Hyoyeon, and in YouTube shows and various posts, he claimed that Hyoyeon also witnessed this incident in the club, but she remained silent. However, Hyoyeon denied those claims several times and said that she went there only to be a DJ and she doesn't know anything. But what was scarier than Kim Sang-kyo's claims was the media. Media was greatly exaggerating the news related to Kim's claims. In short, everything fits perfectly. Who could have thought of anything other than the story of drugs and rape etc. that Kim Sang-kyo made up? Kim Sang-kyo was treated like a hero, and he was so proud of himself that sometime after Burning Sun incident, and when the Nth Room Telegram group case happened, he announced on his Instagram that he decided to reveal this group members' names. That is, what the police had not been able to do completely after a long investigation. In the caption of his post, he wrote exactly like the slogans you see in TV series. The moment the power of the government weakens, people become stronger. So I hope people themselves will judge the truth. Nth Room Telegram group is a completely different case from Burning Sun. If you're interested, there's a Netflix documentary about Nth Room case, named Cyberhell, exposing an internet horror that you can check out. Until the Burning Sun Club released the CCTV footage of the night Kim Sang-kyo was in the club. That is, November 24, 2018. According to the videos, Kim Sang-kyo was the one who sexually harassed a woman by repeatedly touching her. At first, he sat down and stared at the woman's back. And then he poked her with his finger and a bottle. The victim went to the other side and Kim Sang-kyo also went out. After a few minutes, Kim came back and approached the woman again. He grabbed her waist and touched her back. The men around the woman, who noticed what was going on, pushed Kim and started fighting. After a while, Director Zhang intervened and took Kim out. Now, according to the CCTV cameras outside the club, Kim Sang-kyo repeatedly argued with the club's security, and even tried to film him with his mobile camera. He also did many strange things. He threw the plastic garbage out of the club and scattered the trash around, kicked the trash, and threw the ashtray out of the club. Until finally the police arrived and even got into an argument with the police. The police officer kept his hands behind his back the whole time. As the argument escalated, the police officer tried to calm him down, but Kim Sang-kyo suddenly put his hand behind the policeman's neck and pulled him to the ground. Then the rest of the officers tried to separate his hand from the policeman's neck. So Burning Sun denied Kim Sang-kyo's claims by revealing these videos. But what about the CCTV video that Kim Sang-kyo released showing a woman being taken away by the club's security? That video was for December 1, 2018, which is a week later, the day Kim Sang-kyo was at Burning Sun. And what happened is that woman, who was Thai, gets very drunk, messed up the club, and even breaks club's laptop. Even when a female security came to talk to her, she hit her head hard on the table. Since she didn't know Korean, an English translator came to talk to her, but she slapped them as well. As a result, security took her out of the club and called the police. This is part of a video Burning Sun released of that woman, which showed her stealing drinks from another table and beating up the translator. These are the images of the police report of this incident. According to this report, during the police investigation, she admitted to damaging the club's property and committing violence against the club's employees. A few days later, this woman wrote an apology letter and bought a new laptop for club. But the question is, where did Kim Sang-kyo get the CCTV footage? The story is that one of the employees of Burning Sun likes one of his female coworker, and he was basically a stalker. But that girl rejects him, so he gets angry and destroys the girl's car. After this incident, Burning Sun fires the boy. As a result, that boy, who was looking for revenge and wanted to vent his anger somewhere, teamed up with Kim Sang-kyo to ruin Burning Sun's name. There are some leaked screenshots from these two that he is saying to Kim, "Let's use Seungri's name to get people's attention." Well, what happened to Kim Sang-kyo? If you remember, it was mentioned that Kim Sang-kyo was at Burning Sun Club on November 24, 2018, and released his story a month later, in late December 2018. At that time, Kim Sang-kyo was accused by 3 women for sexual harassment in Burning Sun Club, but was only found guilty for one of these instances. In the instance he was proven to be guilty, the court ruled in favor of the victim due to the fact that her testimony was backed up by CCTV evidence. For the other 2 instances of alleged assault, the court ruled that Kim was not guilty due to insufficient evidence. Other than the allegations of sexual misconduct inside Burning Sun, Kim was also indicted and found guilty of obstruction of business for his disruptive behavior outside the club. While considering the facts of this charge, the court stated, "It is difficult to say that the defendant's actions can be considered as an ordinary act of self-defense." They further described Kim's actions as an aggressive attack. Kim Sang-kyo's sentence was issued in November 2022, 3.5 years after the incident, and he was sentenced to 2 years of probation, 40 hours of sexual violence treatment program, and 80 hours of community service work. Following the initial verdict, Kim Sang-kyo filed an appeal. On January 25, 2024, the court dismissed his appeal and upheld the original sentence. Subsequently, he filed a second appeal. On May 9, 2024, his second appeal was also rejected, and the court maintained the initial verdict, and Kim remains classified as a sex offender. If Kim commits another offense during his probation, he could face a 1-year prison sentence. One of the women who sued Kim Sang-kyo for sexual harassment was a person named Anna, who was an employee of the Burning Sun Club. Anna is from China, and during the investigation, it was found that she was selling drugs to Burning Sun's Chinese VIP customers. Anna had previously posted a photo with Seungri on her Instagram. As a result, media had reported that Seungri knows Anna and personally brought her to Burning Sun. The media also claimed that Burning Sun is an organized group for selling drugs, and the head of this group, who is addicted and abusive, is Seungri. Therefore, police started investigating this matter and took drug tests from all employees, managers, and shareholders, including Seungri. During all the investigations, several tests were taken from various parts of Seungri's body, such as hair, leg hair, armpit hair, blood, and urine, all of which came back negative. However, Anna and one of the club CEOs, Lee Moon-ho, tested positive for drugs. After their investigation, police announced that, Burning Sun is not an organized group for selling drugs. Anna has been selling drugs personally without club's knowledge, and Seungri did not know Anna personally. Just because Seungri was famous and Anna was his fan, she took a photo with him. Let's briefly review the latest reported progress of accusations related to Burning Sun Club. 1. Kim Sang-kyo, whistleblower, sexually harassed 3 women. The full details of Kim Sang-kyo's sexual harassment case and the final verdict were explained earlier. 2. Assault on Kim Sang-kyo. Kim sued 9 people, including Director Jang and the club's security, who were then forwarded by the police to prosecution with an indictment opinion. Lee Moon-ho, one of the CEOs of the club, stated about Director Jang's violence in a letter. Regardless of the reason, our former employee Director Jang's actions of physically assaulting a customer was undeniably his fault, and it is a crime that must be met with a deserving punishment. After becoming aware of the severity of the situation, I immediately called for the firing of Director Jang, and he will have to deeply repent and receive the necessary punishment. I also believe I am responsible as I was the one who hired him. This issue, which began with Director Jang's physical assault, is currently being spread across various different topics including deals with the police, sexual assault, and drugs. Burning Sun has currently delivered all CCTV footage and documents related to the club to the investigative team, and we are actively complying with them. Aside from the assault case, everything else is unconfirmed. Most of it is unsubstantiated rumors that have been spread. 3. Sexual assault and drug-facilitated rape. In July 2019, Chief Min Gap-ryong stated that there was no proof found by the police, so the allegations were cleared.
특히 이번 국민청원에서 청원인이 인용한 소위 VIP룸 불법 행위 보도 내용에 대해 집중 수사를 하였습니다. 영상 속 VIP룸 손님과 클럽 직원을 특정하여 수사한 바, 클럽 화장실 내 성행위를 불법 촬영하여 해외 사이트에 유포한 피의자 42명을 검거하였습니다. 수사 과정에서 보도된 내용과 같은 성폭행이나 마약 투약 사실은 확인되지 않았습니다.
4. Illegal filming in Molka. Regarding the video depicting 2 customers engaging in sexual activity in the club's bathroom, which was discovered on a foreign pornographic website as previously mentioned, a former MD of the club faced trial and sentenced to 2.5 years of prison with a suspended sentence of 4 years probation. In addition to the prison term, he was also ordered to undergo 2 years of protective supervision, complete 160 hours of community service, participate in a 40-hour sexual violence treatment program, and adhere to a 3-year employment restriction preventing them from working in organizations associated with children or individuals with disabilities. The MD was found guilty of illegally recording the male and female customers with his mobile phone and sharing the footage with acquaintances via Kakao Talk. 5. Drug use and distribution. Lee Moon-ho, one of co-CEO of the club, was sentenced to 1 year in prison for various drugs offenses. A woman who was accused the club of using GHB was fined in a jury trial. Another former MD was sentenced to 4 years and 8 months in prison for drug use and smuggling, along with additional monetary penalties. In 2019, it was also reported that there was no proof found for obvious drug distribution in the club. 6. Minor entry and employment. CEO Lee Moon-ho was initially sentenced to 6 months in prison suspended with 1 year of probation. However, after an appeal, he was acquitted. CEO Lee Sung-hyun was initially sentenced to 6 months in prison suspended with 1 year of probation. After an appeal, he was also acquitted. Mr. Han, the former sales manager of the club, was initially sentenced to 6 months in prison suspended with 2 years of probation. Following an appeal, his sentence was reduced to 6 months in prison suspended with 1 year of probation. Burning Sun Corporation was fined 5 million won. 7. Bribery involving police collusion. As mentioned earlier, one of the accusations made by Kim Sang-kyo against Burning Sun was that the police were covering up the crimes of the club. During the police investigation, an accusation was made that an underage customer had entered the club, which could have led to the club being shut down. Lee Sung-hyun, one of the club CEOs, allegedly gave 20 million won in bribes to a police officer named Kang to cover up this violation. When this accusation was raised and publicized, it lent credibility to all of Kim Sang-kyo's claims. Mr. Kang, a former Gangnam policeman, who was accused of accepting bribes from CEO Lee Sung-hyun to cover up the minor entry and employment case, was initially sentenced to 1 year in prison and some additional monetary collection in his first trial. However, he was acquitted in appeal. He was eventually found not guilty by the Supreme Court upon second appeal. Furthermore, Officer Kang has successfully sued MBC for disseminating false information. Nonetheless, at that time, suspicion fell on both the club and the police. 8. False tax invoices. 4 defendants, including CEO Lee Moon-ho and Chairman Lee of Cheonwan Industry as well as Burning Sun and Cheonwan Industry companies, were accused of receiving false tax invoices under the guise of services. Lee Moon-ho, sentenced to 8-month prison suspended by 2-year probation. Cheonwan Industry Chairman Lee sentenced to 6-month prison suspended by 2-year probation. Burning Sun Corporation fine 100 million won. Cheonwan Industry fine 50 million won. It is important to note that while these charges are related to Burning Sun, not all of them occurred within the club or involved all individuals associated with Burning Sun. Some individuals from the club were involved in criminal activities, leading to media attributing these violations to the entire club as if everyone within the club was aware of them. The biggest question that remains unanswered is why Seungri's name became entangled in all these incidents. Was Seungri truly the CEO of the Burning Sun Club? As mentioned previously, Burning Sun had 2 CEOs, Lee Moon-ho and Lee Sung-hyun. Seungri was merely the public face and advertising model of the club, and the club's notoriety stemmed from Seungri's association with it. However, all media headlines portrayed Burning Sun as Seungri's club and directed all allegations towards him. In addition to the deliberate manipulation of this incident to capitalize on Seungri's name, confusion arose due to the similarity in names as well. One of the CEOs of Burning Sun was Lee Sung-hyun, while Seungri's real name is Lee Sun-hyun. There is a slight difference in the Korean spelling of their names. The CEO of Burning Sun is Lee Sung-hyun, and Seungri's real name is Lee Sun-hyun.
이성현, 이성현, 이승현, 이승현.
This incident inflicted significant harm on Seungri, prompting Lee Moon-ho to issue a public apology to Seungri, clarifying that Seungri had no involvement in Burning Sun. From Lee Moon-ho letter: I am deeply repenting that my inability to oversee my employees has caused so many to feel angered about Burning Sun. Seungri has received the most damages from this situation. Unlike the many other businesses that Seungri manages and runs himself, Seungri only helped as a consultant and assisted us in contacting foreign DJs for Burning Sun. He did not intervene in the actual management of the club. My heart is heavy and pained that Seungri is receiving so much criticism and rebuke for something I suggested. I am very sorry. Various witnesses also testified that Seungri had no part in the club's decision-making. According to the list of Burning Sun shareholders, Seungri's shares were held under Yuri Holdings Company. 20% of the club's shares belong to Yuri Holdings, with 8% of those shares attributed to Seungri. Further details about this company are discussed in the subsequent videos related to the Seungri case. Lee Sung-hyun, distinct from Seungri, is also listed as a shareholder. It is worth noting that Lee Sung-hyun was the one who accused of bribing the police. The similarity in names led to Seungri being wrongly accused of bribery. In reality, Seungri was entirely innocent and unaware of these events. In conclusion, it is important to reflect on the overwhelming media coverage that surrounded the Burning Sun scandal. When the scandal broke, a barrage of over 100 articles flooded the news cycle daily, all bearing the same sensational headline: Seungri's Club. The situation escalated to the point where Seungri proactively sought interrogation and drug testing, voluntarily submitting an application to the police for a thorough investigation. During the rigorous 8.5 hours interrogation, Seungri cooperated fully, marking his first investigation questioning and drug test. So Seungri's first interrogations were voluntary and at his own request. However, the media's portrayal of Seungri was often misleading and sensationalized. For instance, a photo of Seungri wearing a police costume for Halloween 2014 was misinterpreted in an article claiming evidence of Seungri colluding with the police, when in reality he had simply purchased the costume from a store. From other baseless allegations propagated by the media, they alleged that there was a witness who had seen Seungri using drugs. Seungri's legal team requested a face-to-face meeting with this witness to hear their testimony, but no such witness was ever located. The Burning Sun incident was predominantly fueled by the unverified claims of Kim Sang-kyo, with no corroborating evidence beyond his interviews and media coverage. Police investigations revealed that the allegations against Burning Sun were unsubstantiated and driven by media pressure and public opinion. It later emerged that Kim Sang-kyo was dishonest and lacked credibility. In summary, 1. Allegations against Burning Sun stemmed solely from Kim Sang-kyo, with no additional complaints or accusations. 2. Police investigations into the allegations were based on media pressure rather than concrete evidence. 3. All claims made by Kim Sang-kyo against Burning Sun were thoroughly debunked by the police. 4. Kim Sang-kyo himself was implicated in misconduct for sexually harassing women at the club, highlighting his lack of credibility in the scandal. 5. Seungri was not the CEO of Burning Sun Club and he had no role in the club's decisions. 6. Burning Sun, contrary to false narratives, was not a corruption center where girls were drugged and raped, and there is no confirmed allegation of this happening. None of the charges that were confirmed by the police included the charges that Kim Sang-kyo made against Burning Sun. At the end, this issue raises the question of what the truth about Burning Sun is. A club that suddenly became accused of numerous horrific crimes, and its news not only exploded in Korea but also globally, with several celebrities being implicated in the midst of these news. In every article published about Seungri, the word Burning Sun stands out. This is despite the fact that Seungri is not facing any charges related to the horrifying stories associated with the club. Furthermore, the Jongjunyang chat room dates back to 2015, while Burning Sun Club was opened in 2018. Despite the police and prosecution's efforts to link Seungri to Burning Sun, they could not find any evidence. All media and people have pointed their fingers at Seungri, thinking that by detaining him, this whole story would end. The prosecution requested Seungri's detention twice, and both times it was rejected. Burning Sun Club was modeled after other famous clubs in Gangnam, and followed their methods. Various sources have reported that similar corruptions occur in other Gangnam clubs as well. But has there ever been any investigation into a potential connection between Burning Sun and other clubs? Has it ever been clarified if, as the allegations suggest, wealthy and powerful individuals were associated with this club? Have investigations been conducted on these unknown powerful individuals? Have the media ever pointed their fingers towards the biggest shareholders of the club due to these strange allegations? No. Everything was ruined for Seungri, who only owned 8% of shares and was nothing more than a DJ at the club. What we failed to notice is that the facts about Burning Sun and similar clubs are hidden behind two separate cases related to famous celebrities, and everyone remembered Burning Sun case with the name of Seungri and Molka chat. The Seungri and Molka chat cases were foisted as Burning Sun. As a result, many facts remained hidden and the media bears significant responsibility for perpetuating this confusion.